Hi.
Thanks so much for joining us. I'm Lorelei Shamayo. Together with Deb Glass, we've created the Pop Coaching Panels. We have events for coaches all around the world so we can connect with each other, collaborate, learn together, and share our work with you so you have access to many modalities at one time. We interview our coaches and other practitioners so you get a chance to know who we are before you meet us at an event. I'm here today interviewing Henry India Holden. Henry, it's lovely to be here with you.
Thank you. Thanks so much for having me on. And it's lovely to be here with you. And thank you so much for doing this pop coaching. I think it's a great idea, and I really look forward to participating.
Oh, you're so welcome. Well, what is it the coaching work that you do? What do you share at our events?
What I share at the events is the particular type of coaching that I like to do is to guide people on their path of their hero's journey. This is a phrase that Joseph Campbell coined to describe what he discovered about the arc of human life through studying mythology. So often, when we want to talk about something in our lives that is beyond our ordinary everyday experience, how we do that is by creating stories, creating mythologies. And so Joseph Campbell, an eminent mythologist, studied the mythologies around the world and realized that we all have certain beats on the arc of our story in common. And so basically, if you study that yourself, you'll see your own life story reflected in that. And so what I discovered in my own self was that I always felt called to something. And I would question whether I was justified, whether I was being egoistic or narcissistic. And I've noticed that this is happening for a lot of people as I do coaching for people. The first question people have is, who am I to think that I can, and then fill in the blanks. And I've gone through this myself, and the hero's journey is this wonderful way of being supported as you go through the different questions and through your doubts and through your challenges on your life path, as you are finding your way to be your true self. So you're born, obviously, your true self. And then sort of society gets a hold of us and tells us who we are and who we are not, and what there's for us to do and what there's not for us to do. And that's often not in accord with our authentic self. And so we're developing these two characters of who we are and then who we are shaping ourselves into to be acceptable and to have the sense of belonging. And then wherever that doesn't work, because there's too much of a discrepancy between our authentic self and our shaped self, that's when tension begins to happen, and that's when unhappiness starts to creep in, or a sense of incompleteness and unfulfillment. Or this, like, I really wish I could, but I don't know if I'm allowed to. And that's where people come to me. And I know for a fact that whatever it is that you want to do, you're allowed. Whatever it is that is who you truly are, that's who you're meant to be. Whatever your questions are as to your validity, they're just questions. It's not in any way pointing to that you're not valid or that anything about you is not valid. You are magnificent. And the other thing that I've discovered, so I want to say that again, you are magnificent. The other thing that I've discovered is that people often see themselves as a small part of a larger story, and that's true. Each of us is the part that we are to the story, and there is a larger story that involves all of us. And that doesn't mean that we're small. That doesn't mean we're insignificant, or that we don't have as much meaning as someone else or as the overall story. It's sort of like if you think about the ocean. If you were to look at a drop of water from the ocean, and you would say, this drop of water is just a little drop of water, it would seem absurd. You know it's part of the ocean. The ocean is magnificent and great. So therefore is this drop, because it is part of that ocean. It doesn't have other properties. It has the exact same properties, and that's how we are. So what I like to do is I like to encourage people when we do coaching to relate to themselves as spectacular. And in the beginning, that might be a little bit difficult, but it's not difficult for long, because we're all divine, if you're so inclined, or we all have the natural inborn greatness that all of life has, and we are entitled to own that. We can take up that space, and this is how I coach people. It's basically, you know, when we say the hero's journey, we think in terms of that we're starting somewhere and we're going somewhere, but it's not an external journey necessarily, and it could be. I can certainly take you from point A to point B. I'd love to. If you have some point B you want to be, I can support you in getting there. And the hero's journey is about simply unfolding. So what's changing is your presence. What's changing is who you're being. What's changing is how you are experiencing life and what you're contributing to life. It expands tremendously.
It's great. I tingled so much at various points in what you shared. And part of what I hear is your passion and your great capacity is helping people with that inside journey so they can go where they need to and want to go.
Yeah, that's well put. Thank you.
Oh, you're welcome. So great. Well, if people want to get in touch with you and learn more about you, where do they find you on the web?
Very simply, henryhello.com. So HENRY, hello, HELLO.com.
Oh, that's great, Henry. Thank you so much. I'm looking forward to being at more of our events with you. And for all of you listening and watching, you can find out more about us at popcoaching.org. Thanks so much.
Thank you. Have a wonderful day. Bye-bye.